Hello lads, lassies, and those of unspecified gender, it's the Irishman here, and today I'm going to be talking about what would have happened if Goku had magic. This is the second part to this What If. If you haven't already, I greatly recommend you go check out the first part before coming back to this video. This scenario was only made possible because I reached 750 subscribers. This was something I know a lot of people would want to see, and so I made this What If to celebrate hitting 750. The next What If I will make at a subscriber milestone is what if Gohan was like Goku, and that will come once I have hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you're interested in seeing my take on that idea, why not like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, that way you're notified anytime I release any new anime content. And now with all of that out of the way, let's get into the story of this What If. Nappa and Vegeta train with the Saiyan brothers for approximately 6 months. They all reach power levels around 10 million. Goku and Raditz, however, would be a little bit ahead at 11 million. After a while, the Ginyus would arrive on Earth, as Frieza would have sent them out to deal with the insubordinate Saiyans. The Saiyan squad is out of commission after a grueling training session the night prior, but even without the Saiyans, the Earth isn't completely defenseless. All of the Z-Fighters would rush to the battlefield, and even a newly trained up Piccolo comes to fight. Piccolo trained with Kami and was much stronger, but the rest of the Earthlings were still weak in comparison. The Ginyu Force takes turns fighting Piccolo, who only has a power level of around 75,000. Ginyu himself goes off to find the dragonballz, but doesn't have a radar. After a while of this searching, Goku would wake up and would sense everything going on, and heal all of the Saiyans up to max proficiency. After arriving on the battlefield themselves, the Saiyans instantly kill off the Ginyu Force. Goku would opt to keep them alive, but nobody liked that idea. Frieza would get word of the Ginyu's death and would decide to head to Earth himself. He also chose to start training. If the Ginyus were beaten that easily, the Super Saiyan might awaken soon. It would take 6 months to get to Earth from Frieza's current location with the ship he's using, but that's still half the time it took Vegeta and Nappa, because Frieza has better equipment than they did. Frieza arrives and launches his armies onto the planet. They all are taken out within minutes as the Saiyans arrive to fight Frieza. Frieza himself would enter his final form and would fight Goku, choosing not to play around here. During this 6 months Frieza was training, Goku trained with King Kai, who told him about Frieza's growing strength. Goku kept up with Frieza's final form during this training, as Goku would also have enhanced potential from his magic. Frieza would power up into a newly acquired golden form, and Goku would activate a fiery aura that lets him defend against physical attacks, as well as making his more potent. The Magic Saiyan would freeze Frieza, kind of ironic, sapping away some of his power before exploding the ice. Frieza would be fatigued and hurt, while Goku has gotten much stronger from taking the Golden Boy's power. The rest of the Saiyans would jump in to help Goku, but out of annoyance, Frieza would blow them all away using a powerful ki blast. Goku would call out to them, but most specifically Raditz. Frieza, realizing Goku cares more about his brother than the others, shoots a death beam straight through Raditz's chest, killing him instantly. Goku would burst out in rage, becoming the first ever Super Saiyan Mage. In a fit of rage, Goku would punch Frieza in the gut, causing fire to rush through the Frost Demon's body. Goku would begin pummeling Frieza, as well as taking his energy in the process. After just a few minutes, Frieza would be completely drained, falling out of his golden form. Goku would let the Emperor leave with his life and his tail between his legs. Insulted by this, Frieza would go to hit the ground with enough force to destroy the planet. But before Frieza can do this, Goku would seemingly skip through time to land a hit on Frieza, ending his life instantly. Goku was able to learn the time skip we saw with Hit, not to the same degree, but enough to be a potent weapon in battle. With Frieza dead, the Z Fighters would gather the Dragon Balls and revive everyone killed by Frieza and his men. Raditz would come back to life and congratulate his brother on becoming the legendary Super Saiyan. 1.5 years would pass and Trunks would arrive in the past. King Cold would hear that his son trained and still was killed by the Super Saiyan, and he would spend the next year making sure he was stronger than his son, before heading to Earth, that way he could kill the so-called Super Saiyan. Trunks would be toyed with by the Frost Demon, as this is the same Trunks from the original timeline. After feeling a ki like Frieza's, Goku would rush to the scene and fight off King Cold. Having mastered the power he stole from Frieza as well as mastering Super Saiyan Mage, Goku is more than enough to kill King Cold. Trunks is amazed by Goku's strength and would ask to spar. The magical Saiyan would far outclass the future warrior and would demonstrate a whole new level of power. After gazing at Goku's magical aura, Trunks would remember why he came, and then he would give Goku the heart medication, telling him to take it once he feels a sudden pain in his chest. It will save his life, and possibly save the entire world. For the next 3 years, Goku would continue training with Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta. Eventually, the 3 other Saiyans would achieve Super Saiyan, but it's not like Goku's. Because they didn't absorb Shenron, they don't have magical powers, so they just get regular old yellow Super Saiyan, which is still cool, but far less powerful. Goku would still maintain a lead, but as the others increase their base power to try and succeed Goku, well, they're catching up. They're certainly not to his level yet, but they're catching up. Now, once we actually reach the Android Saga, there wouldn't be any androids. Not yet, at least. So, for another 1.5 years, there's more peacetime. But then, the androids would arrive. Now, of course, Trunks would come after the original 3 years, but since there were no androids attacking, he would just assume that they just took out Dr. Gero before the androids were even created. And then he would go back to his timeline hoping to be able to find some fix. But then after 1.5 years passes, the androids would actually attack. But 17, 18, they aren't even here. No, instead it's Android 19 and 20, but a far more powerful set. Goku would attempt to fight against them, but they would begin to absorb his power. And his magic. Dr. Gero had prepared for Goku's magical enhancements, and was ready to bring him hell. He didn't even try and create 17 or 18, hell, he didn't even make Cell. Instead, he focused on increasing his own strength as well as Android 20's. He only needs himself and the Clown Man to handle the Z Fighters. Because, well, relying on 2 rebellious teenagers to get your job done doesn't exactly work, and creating entirely new sentient life is far too big of a risk, so Dr. Gero would take it into his own hands. Now, why would I make this change? Do I think it's logical? Not at all. Instead, I made this change because somebody recommended, what if Android 19 and 20 were the main bad guys in the Android Saga? And frankly, I don't like these characters all too much, so I didn't want to create my own what if for it. Plus, it'd be really short because it would just be the Android Saga. Nothing else past that would change. So I decided I would just implement it here. Goku's heart virus would activate, and then he would have to be wheeled away by Yamcha. Or I guess, flown away, but you get what I mean. Then Raditz, Piccolo, Vegeta, Nappa, they would all try and hold down the fort, fighting against Android 19 and 20 until Goku can recover and help fight. But that would take a while, and so they were ultimately nearly killed. But Raditz would be able to save everyone. As well, in the Afterlife, he would have trained under King Kai for a short time, choosing to learn an ability that King Kai knew. But not Kaioken or the Spirit Bomb, no, something else. Something that we only really saw in filler. The instant transmission technique. Yes, King Kai was able to perform this same technique that Goku learned from Yardrat in a filler arc of DBZ. Now, whether or not he officially knows it, I don't know, but I'm going to give it to Raditz here just to kind of bail myself out of a hard writing problem. If the mangaka of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, can do it, I can too. So Raditz will learn instant transmission during his time in the Afterlife, and using it here he would teleport Piccolo, Vegeta, and Nappa up to the lookout. That way they don't die at the hands of the Mad Doctor and the Clown. Kami would ask what's going on and why they're here, and this situation would be explained, although a bit hastily, as they're afraid that Dr. Gero and his little pet clown might try and come up here, sensing their energies. But Kami would explain that, as far as he can tell, they don't even know where they went, and they should be safe for now. This is a huge relief, and Raditz would ask if he has any way for them to actually be able to take these two down. And the Guardian of Earth would explain that there actually is some way he can think of. All he would have to do is send two people into the Room of Spirit and Time. That way they can train for a year and then get hopefully strong enough to beat these two androids. And Raditz is astonished. They had something like this? And King Kai would explain that they did, but it's a bit, let's say, hard to use. But Raditz doesn't care. If he's able to get stronger, possibly even stronger than his brother, then he's all ears. So he would then drag Piccolo into the room, as Raditz and Piccolo had become rivals. Not super competitive, but they were still good friends and rivals in this timeline. Then, after exiting the room, after a day passes, and yes, Dr. Gero and Android 20 would continue killing hundreds, possibly thousands of people, but, I mean, they can just be wished back with the Dragon Balls. And Vegeta and Nappa wouldn't actually go off to fight him again, as Kami would advise them to just wait until they get their turn in the room. Once Piccolo and Raditz actually do leave, though, they would be insanely powerful. Raditz would have achieved Super Saiyan 2 and even tapped into Super Saiyan 3, but would realize its useless transformation. Piccolo actually would have achieved something even better, though. He would have gotten the ultimate form he had in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Yeah, he might not have had his potential awakened by Guru, but after enough training, I think he'd be able to do it. After all, this is Piccolo's potential that was unleashed, so he has the potential to awaken this form at some point without the wish being made. And I'm saying here, he does it. Mostly because I want to give Piccolo a form, but also because I think it'd be rad, okay? Okay. Raditz and Piccolo would then head out to fight against the androids on their own. While they do this, Nappa and Vegeta would head into the time chamber for their turn. Quickly, they would master Super Saiyan and then be able to actually achieve the next level. Eventually, they would even reach Super Saiyan 3, but would decide it's a useless transformation and that they should not use it. While on the outside, Raditz and Piccolo have their hands full with the androids. But after a long and arduous battle, they would be able to defeat them. But as the two are celebrating, Dr. Gero and Android 19 would begin to regenerate. Now standing back up on their own two newly regenerated feet, although it can't be sensed, they have gotten significantly more powerful. And that's where we're going to be ending things for now. I know I said I was going to be doing this as a 3-part series, that way I could focus on my other projects first, but I decided that maybe it'd be better to actually give this What If the respect it deserves, giving it a full fleshed out story with multiple different parts. Plus, if I had crammed all of that stuff into one video, it would have just been too kerjumbled, as well as probably too long for me to actually download and still have the high quality. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching. I know I certainly enjoyed making it, and if you would please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you are up to date on all of my newest videos, as well as supporting me making these videos. Only around 10% of you are actually subscribed, if that. I don't want to pull up the analytic, and so it would help me out greatly if you were to take a second to press that little red subscribe button. Okay, I'll stop stretching out the runtime now. This is, always has been, and always will be the Irishman. Talk to you later. Bye.